to just easily throw it around, it really does a disservice to Christ, to the gospel, and to just the witness of the church.
What is up, everyone? We are back with another episode of Shaping the Culture. Let's just get to it. The whole secular sacred divide. There is no distinction in the scriptures. Some of us have trust issues with God, and some of us, it's like, does God really got us? You can't engage the culture with the gospel that first has not engaged you. Like, you know how people are like, oh, that's just who I am. Nah.
Keep. Drop the mic. Drop the mic.
Shaping the code.
Like, how do you engage heresy? Like, would you say if somebody doesn't believe in the Trinity, they aren't Christians? Just to keep it short.
Yeah,
it's a big question.
That is a very big question.
So the way I've been in situations like this, I think the way that you would want to navigate a situation like that would be, the word Trinity obviously is not in the Bible, right? So it's a term that came up in the 2nd century to be able to capture something that was in the Bible. So it just is a term that codifies what we already have in the Bible. We just have a word now to call it that, so that we don't have to keep explaining the whole doctrine of the Trinity every time we drop it, right? You just got a word, Trinity. I think there's a difference between someone unclear about the use of the word Trinity and someone understanding what you mean by the Trinity and outright knowingly refusing to accept or to believe. For example, if you're a missionary somewhere, maybe in this country, or make it easier, in some other part of the world, and you're reaching unreached people groups, let's say, and you're starting from scratch, and here you are, you got to get to God, and you got to introduce them to the nature of God, and you're opening up. You don't even have a Bible in there translated in their language. This happens a lot with a lot of our missionaries that we're supporting. And so they have to explain, right? Now, obviously, somebody could come to faith in Christ, they can have a relationship, but their doctrine, if you will, of the Trinity, it's not this robust doctrine of the Trinity, but nowhere does the Bible suggest that somebody is saved on the basis of a robust theology, right? So just like our own walk, so we hold to, let's talk about doctrine, the doctrine of justification, sanctification, and glorification. Justification, instantaneous, right? It's upon believing in Jesus. We're declared righteous. Sanctification is progressive. It's ongoing. Glorification is when Jesus comes or we go to be with him. Sanctification is a process in which we're becoming more and more like Jesus. It's not just we who are becoming more and more like Jesus. Our theology is getting more and more right. So all of us have a theology of whatever. Let's even call it the Trinity that's improving. That's getting better. But just like, to go back to what is more obvious, our sanctification, our own walk with the Lord. I've been walking with the Lord for over 20 years now, right? Don't try to do the math, right? Over 20 years now, and I'm not any more saved today than when I first believed. But sanctification has done its work. God doesn't love me more now than he first did when I first was introduced to him in a saving way. And I think in the same way when it comes to so if someone is outright rejecting the doctrine of the Trinity, like let's say oneness Pentecostals or modalists who are also of different streams, or Jehovah's Witnesses, or any other sect that has some associations with God or with Christ or with Christianity, but outright, even after being introduced to what the Bible teaches, the doctrine of the Trinity, that's an issue. That's problematic, because the Trinity is one of the essential doctrines of Christianity. It's not a non-essential. If it were a non-essential, then we could understand that, right? So I think that's something to keep in mind. So I think we also need to be careful about throwing the word heresy around for all sorts of things, right? It should be reserved. I mean, they were very careful to use it for right things, things that are truly heretical. And I think to just easily throw it around, it really does a disservice to Christ, to the gospel, and to just the witness of the church as well.
Yeah. And even we should be careful with throwing people aren't saved around as well, I think. Because I've done that in the past, and the Lord really checked me, because when John is doing that in 1 John, that they were never among us, I don't think he's doing that lightly. I don't think he's just writing that. I think he's grieved in his heart.
That's right.
That they were never among us. I don't think he's just, Jim, they were among us, I just don't think that he's just happy, or not even that we're happy like that, but we're just doing it. We're just saying that. So I think we also need to be careful with even that phrase, and when we say, someone, they're not a Christian because they don't believe in X, Y, and Z, or are they really saved? That we need to, tread lightly when we say such things, because I think the Bible treads lightly. When Paul is writing anathema, let them be accursed, I don't think he's just in his jail cell I'm just upset. I'm going in there's something happening in his heart that it's really grieving me that I have to write this right now. It's really grieving me that I have to write 1 John. And so we need to, as if our disposition is that they're not saved, let us at least be grieved.
Yeah, it's good, man.
Let's at least be grieved at that. So that's kind of what I would add to that too. You know what I'm saying?